Your hosts are here, Sammie and Michelle. By the end of this podcast, you'll know them well. Adulting, navigating the journey of life. Careers to relationships, pain and strife. Put down the rule book, rethink the status quo. If there's another direction you wanna go, find purpose, passion and mastery in all that you do with Status Post Adulting.
Hey, Status Post Adulting fam! This is Sammie
and Michelle,
and you're listening to the 76th episode of Status Post Adulting, where we are going to be doing an introduction to manifestation. And I'm super excited about this topic because more and more I am including manifestation as a practice in my life, and I am seeing the benefits. And though I may have had some doubts in the beginning, now I really believe in the power of manifestation, and I think it can be useful to anyone, no matter where you are on your spiritual journey.
I totally agree with that, Sammie. I definitely had doubts, which I don't know why. I'm usually pretty open-minded to different things, spiritual or not, but I've been a little bit slower on picking up on the manifestation and law of attraction. But over the past couple years, I've heard so much more about it. And it's crazy because once you start to pay attention, everybody, especially people who have success in their life, they refer back to very specifically going through the process of manifesting. An example that really stuck out to me is last year I was listening to an episode of Jay Shetty's podcast with Big Sean, a rapper who I love. And he talks about his spiritual journey and manifestation and how he read The Secret and how he even met the author and worked with her specifically. And I was like, you know what? If Big Sean, a Detroit native like myself, can manifest, I think I should give it a shot. And so I did, and I've become a convert over the last couple years.
You know, Michelle, I understand your skepticism, and I agree. For me, I think of myself as a logical person a lot of the time, and manifesting can seem so woo-woo. Like, it can seem almost magical. But I think there's a lot of practical applications of manifesting that can really be useful to everybody's life, no matter how you feel about it. And then at the same time, I'm not going to lie, throughout my own spiritual journey, I have started to really appreciate that more mystical aspect to manifestation as well.
It's so true, Sammie. And it's funny because I do think that there's a little bit to the process of manifestation, little stuff that I've learned over the years hearing different people talk about it. And for me, what I found is that there's actually a very specific way that seems to work for me. And so that's what I'm really excited to talk about today, is to dive in a little bit and talk about the process of manifestation, how you can customize it for yourself, and really just test it out and see, hey, am I able to make something happen?
So we should probably start with explaining what manifestation is. Generally speaking, manifestation is creating a reality in your mind that then gets created in the actual world. And I really like what you said, Michelle, about the process of manifestation, because I think I'm a process person. I love having processes and clear instructions on how to do things. It just makes things more actionable for me. And I think manifestation, despite being something a little bit intangible, can have a process, and that process can make manifestation more accessible and more easy to practice.
Exactly, Sammie. For me, one thing that I think is really important to know when you are manifesting and you're starting to think about what you want is it's important to think about what you want and be specific. Really try to visualize and see what you want, but also, and this is very important, you need to leave space for alternate ways that it can happen. And you need to let go of the control of trying to figure out how exactly it's going to happen. And this for me is the hardest part because I love trying to control these things, and it's very, very hard to let go of the idea that I can't plan exactly how my life is going to go.
That's true, Michelle. I think both you need to, number one, be specific, because if you're not specific enough, If you're like, I just want to become less fearful, you could end up with some really bad solutions to that problem. Because spirit, God, the universe, however you see it, will find a way to make you less fearful. And sometimes those ways are quite difficult. So it doesn't hurt to be a little bit specific in what you're looking for. At the same time, you don't want to be so specific on exactly what you want, because the truth is we're all living currently at a less spiritually enlightened version of ourselves than the one that could exist tomorrow. And what we think is the best outcome for us today is maybe just so limited by what we know. And we aren't thinking of the infinite possibilities that are out there for us.
Yeah, it's true, Sammie. I think a good example of this, especially relevant because we spoke about it on this podcast, is when we did our dreamlining episode, which is where we really try to dream big and think about the things that we would want and what we would want in our future if we had an infinite amount of money. And one thing I kept saying was how my big hang up was I was like, look, like I'm just in a place right now where I don't want to spend the money on expensive skincare. And I really just wanted to be able to have skincare, be able to buy whatever I want, get the lotion, get the cleanser, really make changes. But skincare is an expensive journey to go on. And so I was sort of just putting that out there in the dreamlining exercise that I wanted to find a solution to my skincare problems. Enter a month ago, I was talking to a friend during their interview process. They ended up working for a skincare company, and totally separately, she was like, oh, I can refer somebody to have some free products. And she gave that referral to me. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, that is so crazy. The one thing I said I wanted right now, the one thing that I really felt like my life I wasn't able to get was to get skincare. And this is everything: cleanser, makeup remover, lotion. It was crazy. It's just given to me for free. And I would never have created this situation. In my mind, I was like, hopefully I can have enough money and then I'll feel comfortable and then I can buy stuff. And this was just an alternate version that I couldn't even imagine myself.
That is right, people. You can even use manifestation to make your face beautiful. It helps with everything. And it's a good thing you weren't too specific. Like, hopefully I'll have X amount of money to buy whatever skincare you need, because then you've got to be buying it by yourself. And luckily you left that open so that somebody could come in and give you free skincare, which is not something that was on your realm of possibilities beforehand.
No, not at all.
Now, when it comes to manifesting, we can manifest something material, like what Michelle did with the skincare. We can manifest an experience. We can manifest feelings as well. So if maybe you just want to manifest like really feeling a sense of deep inner peace, imagine that emotion. You can manifest that. It's not all material things.
Yeah, it's true, Sammie. This really hit home for me when I was listening to, actually, Mystic Michaela has a podcast on what she calls empath manifestations. Empath being the idea that you're the type of person that can feel other people's feelings. And she made a really interesting point, which was that sometimes it's not about a specific material or good that you want. Sometimes it's easier and it makes more sense to manifest, like you said, Sammie, a feeling. And so an example of that is when I manifest, it's hard to think like, oh, I want a certain amount of money. Do I want $1 million? Do I want $1 billion? Like, what does that actually mean to me? The material good doesn't really mean much. But what I can think about is, oh, I really want to manifest financial independence. I want to manifest financial security, safety. I want to feel really comfortable. I want to be able to bring in abundance. These things don't have to be like, oh, I'm visualizing $1 million and this is what I'm manifesting.
That is so true, Michelle. And another tip on manifestation. It can be helpful to imagine or manifest in a state where you're imagining that you already have whatever it is you want. For example, Michelle's anti-$1 million example. One thing I often do is, like, randomly this will just come to me and it'll be like a manifestation that I have that's like, I have multiple millions of dollars and I know exactly how I want to use it. It was given to me because I know exactly how I'm going to use it. And I also know how to make those millions grow. And I know how to help so many people with the money that I have. It's just like a little mantra or a little saying or a little vision that I have where I have this money and I really imagine having it. I really imagine how all my budgets and everything, my spreadsheets are so organized with how I have all this money organized. And I just know exactly how I'm going to use it, how I can use it for good, how I can use it to help people, how I can use it to grow myself, how I can use it to grow my experiences. And it's like a really clear manifestation. But the point is, it's in a space where I already have all that money.
I really like that, Sammie. I've been doing Andrew Johnson, who we interviewed on this podcast early on. I've been doing his law of attraction meditation at night before I fall asleep. And let me tell you, I have been sleeping like a baby. I really like it. But part of it is that after he guides you through this meditation and visualizing what you want, part of it is really imagining that you have it and making statements like you have it. So I have financial security. I have love and support in my life. It's funny because part of what I think manifestation is both dreaming of those things and really putting yourself in that position to receive those things. But also it's not about wanting or lacking those things. It's also about appreciating the things that you have in your life right now.
Exactly, Michelle. Some other forms of manifestation. For me, prayer is a big one. And I also like chanting. Chanting is one thing where the first time I went to a meditation where there's chanting, I'm like, don't love this. But through my various experiences, I find that like, especially when there's chanting in a group setting, it can kind of set like a rhythmic tone to the whole meditation or prayer. That can result in a sense of clarity, which is the perfect fertile ground for allowing a manifestation to form. So for me, when I'm alone, I like to pray and then allow manifestations to be visualized at that time.
I like that, Sammie. I think part of that too connects back to affirmations, which affirmations are basically just positive statements that you say and repeat as often as you like. For me, I've been trying to incorporate some affirmations into my life. I heard one recently that I really liked that was, "What's meant for me will not miss me," which I think is such a perfect one because it just reminds you that you might not have control of the outcome, but also, again, what's meant for me will not miss me. Other ones might be, "I am worthy," "I welcome abundance into my life," "I am happy," "What I desire desires me," different things like that. It's so nice to just reinforce that message, and it really brings you up. It really helps you not only imagine having that in the future, but once again to feel that in the present and be like, yeah, like if you say this enough times, you start to believe it.
It's so true, Michelle. For me, a big one is I came here for a reason. And for me, this goes along with like this mindset that, we are kind of like reincarnated beings and we live in this wonderful human life form where we can make a lot of changes and we can really manifest and we can really create things in our life and we can grow. That's the best thing about the human life is like we can grow during this lifetime. Affirmation or mantra that I have is just that I came here for a reason. That helps me put everything together that's going on in my life. It's like, hey, good times, bad times, I am learning to grow and I came here for a reason.
That totally resonates with me, Sammie. I think also going back to feeling as though you have these things right now and having that be rooted a lot in gratitude. For me, and a message I got from so many different sources over the last couple of years is that the best way to manifest for me is through gratitude. And I see that to be true. The things that I'm grateful for, I feel like I bring more abundance into my life. And so that is a big manifestation practice for me, is actually my gratitude practice. So in the morning or before I go to bed, or sometimes when I just have a free moment, I will just express gratitude and say, I'm so grateful to have such a loving and supporting family. I'm so happy to have a healthy family. I'm so happy to have a healthy family for myself and financial security for myself and a beautiful home. It's such a twofold experience in that I give the benefit of just being grateful and feeling so grateful for that right now in the moment. And also, I think the reason it works as a manifestation is because you're basically telling God, the universe, spirit, whatever it is, you're saying, I'm so grateful for this and I can take more. If there is more abundance, you want to give me more money, more love, I am an open vessel ready to receive it.
Gratitude is so important, Michelle. I think gratitude is a really good mind space for manifestation and having those manifestations come true. I think being present is also a big part of that. And that's why for me, a big way that manifesting works for me is through writing. I notice that when I write, I'm like super present to the point of like flow or like a trance-like space. And that allows me to manifest really well and like in really rich detail too. I heard you mention that you're grateful for a beautiful home. Well, you're welcome because
I'm grateful for a beautiful sister that got me a beautiful home in a beautiful city in the middle of nowhere. That's why y'all got to be specific.
For me, it was really hard to find a home when we were coming here because there's just not a lot of rentals. And so I wrote down this manifestation, like I already had it, of me walking into this home and it has multiple bedrooms and it has a kitchen and just like really going through the details of like how I am when I'm walking through this home and all the different things that I'm seeing. I imagined a keyboard that I like to play on. I imagined these sound bowls, which those are still coming. My bathroom, and we actually had 2 bathrooms, and how wonderful that was to have 2 bathrooms and how peaceful and tranquil our home was. All of these things I talked about in my written manifestation, and the next day a home popped up, a rare event for a rental home to pop up in this area, and it looked very similar to what I had written down or what I had envisioned in my manifestation.
It's so crazy, Sammie, because the other benefit of writing things down is you can go back and be like, holy crap, I did manifest this. I literally wrote this down. I find that when I'm journaling too, like when I go back in my journal and I see the things that I'm really trying to keep an open space for and wish for, or even dreamlining on the podcast, I said that out loud. And yeah, you record it, which is great. It's good for proof. But I also think it helps clarify your idea. Like when I'm writing it down, that's when I'm like, I want money? I want $1 million? No, I want financial security. I want this or that. And it really helps to work through it too. And it forces you to take all these thoughts that you have in your brain and actually put it down as one idea, which I think helps so much in creating that vision and creating clarity when you are trying to manifest something for your future.
Michelle, it is great to have the proof, let me tell you, because I did read that page out to multiple people, including our entire family. I'm like, look at what I manifested. And it's nice. And that's why I also like to create a vision board. A vision board for me is another form of manifestation. And it's similar because for me, making the vision board, I do it on Canva. I just like find photos and things that kind of go along with what I like. It is a little bit trance-like because you're creating like a piece of artwork almost. I love to like go back at the end of the year or like throughout the year and be like, hey, like how am I doing with my vision board? And a lot of times I find that like a lot of the things I had wished for did come true, which is really inspiring too.
How funny would it be if Canva was a sponsor for this podcast? If we were just like, and if you get Canva Pro, you can actually be even more specific on your visions. Don't limit yourself to the free images.
Canva, if you're listening, we're here. We actually use you guys a lot and we're huge fans, so feel free.
We will edit this to put in your sponsorship, so let us know. Honestly, even if we just get Canva Pro for free, that'd be amazing.
100%.
But until then, I have done a lot of vision boards, Sammie, with my friends. Like I really like the activity of like going through, cutting out magazine pictures and like manually gluing stuff on a vision board. But I do have to say, I prefer the online version a little bit more just because you have access to all images. Sometimes it's like, oh, okay, I'm trying to put together a vision board. Let me look at Better Health magazine and see what speaks to me. Or it's like, oh, let me look at Cosmo and see what comes out. And I have like 20 quotes from like Michelle Obama and Jennifer Lopez. And it's like, sometimes I have a very specific idea. I will say I also create sometimes a manifestation Pinterest board. Once again, Pinterest. I'll find images that I like, I'm building one of those right now. Like I'm trying to think of my home for the future. And I'm like, what does that future really look like? What do I see? Like, what are images of places that I see myself in? And so I think having a physical visual is so nice too.
Yeah, Michelle. And a lot of those things like the vision board writing, it's about setting the space to really sit down, focus on the activity, and be present. Which reminds me of another way I like to manifest, which controversial, but during orgasm.
Oh, I mean,
Oh is right. I do think clarity of mind, presence, like 100% presence, and the more clear your mind is the best way to manifest. And I think because orgasm, especially female orgasm, is an activity that requires complete presence of mind. You know, it's kind of hard to have an orgasm if you're thinking other thoughts. It is a wonderful time to manifest. In fact, I feel like sometimes manifestations come to me at that time. Like,
no pun intended.
It's true. And like some of the more common ones that I get is like that God or the universe loves me and is taking care of me, and I'm always going to feel safe and secure, and I'm always going to feel just like loved, like really, really deeply loved, and that I was really put here for a reason. Once again, I was put here for a reason. And a lot of times I will just like really have that deep manifestation that like really deeply resonates during that time period. I come back, you know, and like come back to reality and like, you don't even know what happened to me just now, okay? I was manifesting, talking to God. It was all a wonderful thing.
Well, Sammie, I really support that. And I think that's maybe why I've been struggling manifesting recently. Jokes aside, though, I have actually heard this before. Like, you're not the person to come up with it first, I think. Who knows? But I have heard other people say this, so it's not the craziest thing in the world.
No.
Y'all do you. And others. Respectfully.
Do you while you're doing others.
Where were we? Oh, yes. So I think those are really great steps, Sammie, or different things that you can do to really enhance manifestation. I don't think you have to do all of them. I think it's good to play around a little bit and see what really resonates with you. For example, for me, gratitude, the meditations, the visualization, that really helps for me. Sammie really finds things like the vision boarding, those type of things really helpful for her.
Writing.
Waterboarding is really...
Fully present then.
Oh my God. Try different things. See what works best for you. And I think after that, there is a very specific thing to manifestation that was hard for me to accept personally, because once again, I enjoy having control. But a very important part of manifestation is actually detaching yourself from the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
That means you can think about all these things you desire, you can put it out into the universe, and then, boop, you gotta go on living your life.
Yes.
You don't think about how it happens. You don't tell God, I got a plan. I know exactly where I'm gonna go. You gotta detach.
That is so true, Michelle. Detachment is a huge part of manifestation. Okay, otherwise we would all get the thing that we wanted the most, or that we're begging the universe, or that we're begging God for the most. And that's not how this works. The more desperate and thirsty you are for something, the less effective the manifestation is going to be. It's just how it is. I think part of that is because in Buddhism, you know, attachment is the cause of suffering. And it's because you're attaching yourself to a reality that does not exist, either because you really, really want something to stay forever that already exists, or you really want to get rid of something that you don't like in your life at that moment. And that like attachment to something changing in your current reality is the opposite of presence. If you are attached to something changing and you're fixated on something being different than it is now, then you're not here. And if you're not here and you're not here in the present moment, you're just like not on the vibration that's going to manifest something. You're on a really low vibration.
It's so true, Sammie. And the thing is that even though the idea might seem counterintuitive or might not make sense, you can feel the difference. It actually makes sense in your body, because the difference between manifesting something, being grateful, being open to abundance in different ways, that is very different than yearning for something. For being so focused on the future and what you want and feeling like you lack it and you want it so bad that you cannot focus on the present. You cannot work towards it. You can't do the things to prepare yourself to receive those things. I think of it when it comes to manifesting. A lot of different things talk about manifesting a man and manifesting a boyfriend. And you can see if you're like, I want this guy to text me. I want him to send me the nicest text. I want him to want me. I want him to think about me. I want to spend all this time with him, and I want him to be obsessed with me. And you're just like yearning, and it's like you said, thirsty. And you're not going to get it. You know you're not going to get it. It's not coming for you. It's probably not healthy. And that feeling, it's not positive. It doesn't lift you. It's just, you just want what you can't have. Like, there's so many reasons like that feeling is not the feeling of manifestation. Manifestation is more like, I want a love in my life. I want a partner who is caring or whatever it is that you're looking for. If it's this person or someone equal or better, that opens you up to so much more. Otherwise, you're like, universe, I have this square peg and I want you to fit it in this round hole and you're going to make it happen. And I'm asking you and I want it and I'm visualizing it. And it's like, ugh, you can feel that. You can feel with desperation over manifestation.
It's so true, Michelle. And I think sometimes the most dangerous thing is the universe gives it to you.
Ooh, so true.
Because then you really see how like what you wanted was not actually what you wanted. Which brings up a great point, which is that manifestation, it's a beautiful thing. It's a great aspect of spirituality. It will not solve your problems. The fullness that you experience in life, the joy that you experience in life, the possibility to obtain that is already within you. You manifesting something and then getting that thing is not going to resolve your problems.
It's true, Sammie. I see manifestation more as visualizing things that I desire, that I want to meet me at the point at which I am ready to receive them. It's so important to remember that divine timing is never off. There are a lot of things that I realized that I was visualizing and hoping for, and it really made me realize, oh, I need to do the work here. I need to do internal work. I am actually not ready for some of these things.
Exactly, Michelle. You know, as we talked about attachment before, another aspect of attachment is this idea that when you're trying to manifest things, you kind of have to be in a very clear and present state of mind. You know, that's why the orgasming thing works really well. But in general, like no matter how you're manifesting, the more clear your mind is, the more likely you're going to be able to successfully manifest something. And I like to think of it like this. This is just how I see it in my mind. I'm not saying this is like the literal science or metaphysics of like manifestation, but this is just how I visualize it. I picture like a little wave, like a little typical sine wave that you all are familiar with in math or in physics. Every time we have a little thought, that's like a disturbance against that wave. And it prevents that wave from looking perfectly smooth. We are more likely to manifest when that wave is smooth and also large because we're just so present and so clear and we're just like at that frequency where we are in alignment to create things in the universe. Anytime you have thoughts, especially attachment, that wave is filled with static, and that static is preventing you from really manifesting stuff. So the more clear we can be in our own mind, like the less stuff that's coming in and disturbing us, the more that wave can be beautiful and large and just like really send out our own thoughts and imaginations to the universe.
That makes a lot of sense, Sammie. When I think about manifestation, a lot of it does make sense to me outside of the spiritual aspects of it. It makes sense because you're clarifying what you want. Manifestation brings a lot of clarity because you have to know what you want to ask for what you want. You're focused on a vision. And I think part of it is also just believing that your life circumstance can change, that there is an opportunity in the future that is unknown that can actually uplift you in a way that we can't imagine today.
I agree, Michelle. It's that clarity of vision that makes manifestation really actually work in the real world. And by that same token, sometimes all of us accidentally create a negative clarity of vision. And this can happen when we're constantly fearful and we're constantly thinking of worst case scenarios and we're imagining those worst case scenarios in detail and really diving into like how it would feel to experience that worst case scenario. It's almost like a reverse manifestation. It's that paranoia and that fear that can make those bad things happen in our own life. And we kind of look for those bad things in our own life and we look for signs of those bad things in our own life.
I agree, Sammie. I really believe in negative manifestation. When that idea was introduced to me, I think through The Game of Life by Florence Scovel, she talks about this and it makes a lot of sense. And Sammie and I actually had to have a conversation with our mom about this because we felt that unintentionally she was manifesting a lot of negative stuff for us.
Yes, she was, naturally fearful with us moving here, but then it was turning into these visualizations and manifestations of bad things happening to us. And once we pointed out to her that that's pretty much like a prayer for something ill to happen to us, she was able to see that and reverse her mindset to the positive and envision positive things for us.
It's true. If you think about it, in this example, like our mom was worried about us driving. And she's like, what if you're driving and something happens? What if your car breaks down? Then you don't have water and then you are thirsty in the desert and then all of these things over and over and over again. And the thing I realized is the negative manifestation is the anxiety that it creates in me. Because all of a sudden I'm driving and I'm worried about all these things. And oh my gosh, it's so much more likely going to happen if I can barely drive 2 hours without being paranoid that something's going to happen. I won't have confidence in my ability. I won't do the things that I need to do to keep myself safe. And so I really, more than positive manifestation, I see how negative manifestation quickly works because you are saying something, you're externalizing it to somebody else, you're creating fear and anxiety in them, and that's going to open up a realm of opportunity to create mistakes, to make them feel insecure in their ability to do things, and eventually will lead to bad things happening.
I love that explanation, Michelle. Takeaways from today's episode on our introduction to manifestation. 1. The process of manifestation can be different for every person. Do what works for you, whether that is a vision board, affirmations, mantras, chanting, writing, orgasming.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Orgasming with gratitude. It can be anything.
Okay, yeah, those are common ways to do it. But if there are anything else that you think about, let us know. And once you think of your manifestation, once you have a clarity of what you want and you put it out into the world, detach yourself from it. Go on.
Let it go.
Live your life. Don't yearn after it.
Do not yearn.
Keep checking your phone to see if your manifestation has texted you back.
If you're worried about your manifestation texting you back, that was not a manifestation. That is clinging, and clinging is not the same as manifesting. Let me tell you that.
It feels very different. Manifestation, positive feelings. Yearning, desperation, negative feelings.
Yes, exactly, Michelle. Detachment is key and also a no-thought state, as Sadhguru would call it, is also very important. In order to manifest, you can't be having a trillion other thoughts coming in. You have to have clarity of mind. So get in a place, get in a environment and a situation where you are feeling very clear. Or if you happen to be, on a hike out in nature or something like that, and you notice, hey, I'm feeling clear as well, think a manifestation thought in that moment, because that is when you and the universe are vibrating at that same resonant level.
It's true, Sammie. Manifestation can happen in your bedroom, in nature, while exercising, wherever you have that clarity of thought. Just remember, it's all about clearing your mind, having a very specific vision, believing, and then detaching from it. And keep those thoughts positive, because you do not want to be negatively manifesting things. I catch myself doing it all the time. Even when I'm manifesting, I catch myself negative manifesting.
Yeah.
That's
You're
how...
like in the manifestation, all of a sudden, then all of a sudden, a polar bear appears and he's a little scary in my little Arctic dream. And it's like, whoa, get out of here.
No, polar bear.
Yeah.
Let us know how you're thinking about manifestation. If you got any big dreams, you want to text it to us, email it to us, Instagram it to us. It's actually the best way to manifest is to let us know. Share this episode with a friend and let us know if you have any thoughts on status post adulting.
But most importantly, I see you guys joining us next time to put down the rulebook and rethink the status quo.
Hey guys, if you're still listening, this is Sammie and Michelle with Status Post our episode. We wanted to try something different, create a little bit of space after our show where we could just chat a little bit, talk about things going on in our life. As we grow, we're trying to focus the beginning of our show more getting into our topic. But for our day ones, for our real ones, for the people that are just curious about what's going on in our life, we figured we'd have a little bit more of a casual after show, which we completely stole off of Stacking Benjamins. We had such a great opportunity to go to Las Vegas this past weekend and
Majorly great
to the Stacked Book Tour for Joe Salcia and had an opportunity to talk to him, which was really cool. And we got some feedback from him, and this is our way of taking his feedback and also doing a little bit of taking something that we like from Stacking Benjamins.
Yes. This is our after show. As you may recall, our podcast, it's called Status Post Adulting, and this is Status Post the show, because status post means after, for those of you who forgot. And this is a great time where we can really get to talk without having to interrupt our content or having to postpone our content. But at the same time, people who want more of us, they want to know what's going on, we can have a little room here to chat.
Exactly, Sammie. Maybe you're wondering, what do we think about Beyonce's new Fire anthem? Break My Soul.
I have comments.
What are your thoughts?
So, Beyonce, love her. Her music gets me going. I have to say, though, does she just look for SEO terms, like Great Resignation, people leaving their jobs? Because Homegirl's talking on there and she's talking about the 9 to 5. We know she has literally never worked a 9 to 5, probably ever. I'm saying she's working a lot of hours, but she's not like the rest of us, okay? She's not clocking in and clocking out. She's on a different schedule, which she made up. In fact, her employees are probably like, Beyonce, I thought we were 9 to 5 and it's 5 and you want to keep doing work. And I get it. You're passionate about your projects, but it is time to go, you know?
It's so true, Sammie. It's funny because, like, in her song, she's like, I'm going to quit my job. I'm over this. And it's like,
I'm like, by making this song, you literally did the opposite of quitting your job.
This is your job, Beyonce. This is the work that you do, and I hope you love it. But I agree. It does feel like she was like, went to people and were like, what are the lay people worried about? And they were like, there's a great resignation. She's like, what does that mean? And they're like, people have like jobs and they are like not passionate about it. And then they're like quitting. And she's like, I love that. Quit your job. Leave your job. Okay, I got it.
And you know, when I reflect back on her other songs, I see a lot of patterns and I realize, you know what? None of her songs are really talking about her own life. Like single ladies? Wasn't she like engaged at the time? To the left? Who did you to the left? She had like 2 boyfriends ever. Me, myself, and I. Homegirl has not been single since like age 12. Like, I do not know what's going on here. And now, you know, I get it. The songs resonate, but maybe she's just really getting in tune with the character, but a character that is not her.
Yeah, I mean, the character is everybody else. I appreciate it because there are some songs where I actually feel like they're out of touch. For example, Olivia Rodrigo in Driver's License and in Deja Vu, she's always like, ugh, you're dating another actress like me? And you're probably singing in harmony. And I'm like, okay, Olivia, this is like very specific to you. I have never sang in harmony with any of my boyfriends.
No,
they
first
are
of all,
not
red
dating
flag.
actresses. I wish either of us could carry a tune.
And you know, you're right, Michelle. It's probably a good thing that Beyonce is not singing about her own life, which would be majorly unrelatable. She has like a song about how you broke the non-disclosure agreement, and we're like, okay, like not really something I have to deal with, but yeah.
She's like, crazy stuff happened at the Oscars. They memed me. Unrelatable Beyonce. But yeah, so that's our thought of the week.
Let us know what you think. You know, Beyonce, love her music, but you tell us, how do you feel?
I mean, I will tell you that every time I get in the car with Sammie, that song is playing, so clearly it's not too unrelatable.
And don't come after me, Beyonce.
We do love Beyonce. It's just funny that I'm interested to see what the rest of the album is about. She's going to be like, oh man, I'm so stressed out about inflation. Milk costs like, what, $8 now?
Gas is so expensive, I heard.
My Lamborghini costs like so much money to fill.
My driver just came up to me and told me the gas prices have gone up to like $18. Oh, $8. $8. What were they for? Like $1.99? Who knows?
Luckily, everyone else doesn't need to use diesel like me, so... It's so true, Sammie. Well, let us know what you think if you do listen to this. We will continue doing it because honestly it's harmless and it's fun for us. Hopefully
harmless.
Hopefully harmless.
If we see the numbers dropping, this segment is getting cut. Okay.
You have about 2 weeks to tell us if you like this or not. Otherwise, it's done. Yeah, and hopefully it won't just be about things like The Bachelorette, even though that starts in like 2 weeks. And
I know.
I told
As you
myself
know, me and Michelle,
gonna...
we don't participate in visual media except The Bachelorette.
When we were home last year, we started to watch it, and it was the worst thing to watch because you're like, this is so dumb. Everybody broke up. Everyone broke up in the time that we watched it. And yet, so... I'm like, how can I miss Gabby and Rachel's season? I need to know what happens. There's 2 of them. How interesting. Ugh.
How fun. You know, it'd be like me and my friend being Bachelorette here. That's what I always imagine.
Oh, God, can you imagine? It'd be such a good time.
Oh, maybe I should manifest that.
No.
Are you sure?
I don't think so.
Be specific. Me and my sister, 2 bachelorettes.
I would never want to be a bachelorette.
That'd be really awkward. Yeah, that'd be the most awkward thing ever.
The worst. Anyway, I think they had twins come on once, actually.
That's just no, that's gross.
Not that Sammie and I are twins, despite us getting asked that question all the time these days.
Yeah,
I think seriously. At least 5 times a weekend.
Anytime we're out in a public space, which is not often, that question comes up.
Mm-hmm. It's awkward now because like everybody knows Sammie because she's the town doctor's assistant.
Physician assistant.
Physician assistant. And I don't know anybody. So I've just started to approach people. I just approach everybody like I know them. So I was in Dollar Tree the other day. That's right. Doing some shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this woman staring at me I thought a little bit too long. And I was like, oh my God, she might think I'm Sammie. And so I'm just like, hey, to everybody. That's how I greet people now.
Great, which like now we just say, we greet everybody like we know them. We're like, how are you doing? How are you feeling in your bones, in your body? How are you feling?
I'm like, you
Not
good?
sure
and I like gesture at my heart a little bit. Like, we good? You need to, hit up that metformin maybe. I don't know. So that's it's my town greeting. Honestly, it's great. I'm a much friendlier person now.
Mm-hmm. Now I get why small town people are so friendly. They don't know whether they know someone or whether they don't, and they don't want to act unfriendly.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, you better just be friendly to everybody. Because you know what? We were all each other's mothers, brothers, children in past lives. So we should greet people like we already know them. Why not?
Amen. Amen, Sammie. On that note, thanks so much for joining us, guys. Peace out.
Bye.